Do big girls have it better? Hello everyone, I'm Sarah from Everyday Starlet. Welcome to my channel. I make videos to inspire you to be the star of your own life. I want to break down a topic that seems to be going around on TikTok, and it just, I don't know, this whole subject seemed to just snowball. There were so many different videos that I ended up saving because I wanted to talk about it, and it was just more than I could talk about in just one quick little TikTok clip. So I wanted to make a whole video breaking this down. It's the idea of plus-sized women and attracting men. Now, I have some videos on this topic about feminine energy and body image and weight and things like that. So you can dive into those videos where I break some of this stuff down in more detail. However, disclaimer, because I know that there's going to be people who are going to bring this stuff up. First of all, I want to state that nothing that I am saying, nothing that I say in this video is one, endorsing obesity. I am a huge advocate in living a healthy lifestyle and taking care of your body and doing things that promote health within your body. I think it's an important part of self-love. I think connecting to your feminine energy means supporting your feminine body and supporting your feminine hormones. That said, that health is going to look different on different bodies. I am also in no way body shaming anybody. None of this is meant to be a judgment. Wherever you are right now in your life, whatever your body shape, whatever your body type, whatever your level of health right now, I highly encourage you to love yourself where you are right now. And if you want to make changes, do them from a place of self-love instead of a place of feeling like you are not good enough or a place of self-hate. That is always my message and will always be my message. So none of this is to endorse an unhealthy lifestyle, and none of this is meant to body shame or spread hatred at all. And anybody who wants to get in on this discussion and leave a respectful comment, I welcome that. That said, any kind of like hate or body shame or anything like that, not tolerated. Just want to put that all out there to start with. So this kind of topic of discussion started on TikTok with a video that went viral where basically this content creator was saying that they don't know a single plus-sized female friend that has trouble pulling men. All of the plus-size women that they know actually get a lot of guys, and they don't see plus-size women as having a problem getting men. So as a result of this, it was a plus-size model who made a follow-up video where she was basically concurring and explained her reasoning why she believes that plus-size women and why she pulls more men at a size 14, 16 than she ever did when she was smaller. And I'm gonna show the video right now, the stitch, so you can see what I'm talking about.
I never had a plus size friend with a hard time pulling me in.
When I tell you I've never been hit on by more men in my entire life as a size 14 woman, I don't think you guys understand. I used to be so insecure when I was smaller, and then the bigger I got, the more confident I became, and people were like, wait, what? How? I used to think like men aren't gonna like me, like maybe I'm not their type, like I'm too big or curvy, whatever. That is all a mindset. Switch your mindset. It's all confidence.
There's a few angles that I want to take when I talk about this topic. For one, I have personal experience being a very, very wide range of sizes as a woman. So I think I can pretty confidently speak on getting attention from men at just about any size. There's a few things that I think need to be noted. For one, and I think we need to just get this out of the way right here, and I'm not shaming her. This is not meant with any shade. This is just human nature and human experience. She is a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model. She has a certain level of fame. She has a certain level of clout. She's always gonna have men who are gonna be drawn to her because of that. She's gorgeous. I'm not shaming her at all. I'm just saying there are always gonna be men out there who are like clout chasers. It's gonna happen, right? I'm not saying all men do that, but like there's always gonna be men that do that. So when you're a woman at a certain level of fame and success, it doesn't necessarily exclude, like if you're not attractive, you're not attractive. However, a woman with a certain level of fame and success is going to add to her quote unquote value for some men. And again, I'm not saying this with any shade or any kind of judgment. Just the number of men that you can pull doesn't necessarily mean that they're quality men, and I am not at all saying that this woman is not pulling quality men. She very well could be. However, I mean, let's be real. Every woman on the planet pulls some men who are quality and not so quality. As women, we all get some good ones and we all get some bad ones. The ratio of that, how many good ones compared to how many bad ones, gonna vary greatly from woman to woman. I know from my own personal experience, and this isn't me being arrogant, this is just my experience, I attract men at any size. I've never been somebody who, you know, gained some weight and was like, oh my god, I'm invisible to men. That's not been a thing for me. However, I will say I get more attention when I'm thinner. And I'll get to why I think that is in a second. However, the quality of attention I get from men stays exactly the same regardless of how much I weigh. So that's a factor. Like, you can get a ton more men, you know, whatever size, whatever weight you are, if you're getting more men, but the question is, how good is the quality? Because as a woman, if you're just getting a ton of attention from men, but it's not quality men, then that's kind of wasting your time, right? I do agree with what this model was saying, that yes, it's a huge part about confidence. And I do believe that for me, I carry myself with much more confidence when I'm thinner. Part of that is because I have a much easier time fitting into clothes. I have a much easier time finding clothes that fit me properly when I'm thinner. So I usually can pick more things that make me feel really good about myself, so I can carry myself differently when I'm thinner. So I do think that that confidence level, for sure, a factor. If you can carry yourself with confidence at any size, you're miles above most women, because there's a lot of absolutely drop dead gorgeous women who may be more societally acceptable as far as their beauty standards, but they don't carry themselves with confidence and they're not going to get as much attention. So I absolutely agree with that. I do think that we also have to be careful of assuming that, like, I wear the same dress size right now that she says that she wears. My body looks completely different than her body. She obviously gains weight in very societally acceptable places, waist down, as a woman. So if you can maintain a tiny little waist, but you're just, you know, gaining a bigger butt, which is on trend right now, well, you're gonna automatically look more societally acceptable, so to speak, than if a woman who carries her weight, say in her midsection, she may actually be thinner, or actually maybe a smaller weight. People are gonna associate her with being bigger because she doesn't have that, like, hourglass figure or something like that. In reality, and as much as I hate to admit this, there is a biological reasoning for this. Men are looking for a certain ratio of waist to hip. It's actually not as dramatic scientifically in the scientific research. It's not as dramatic a waist to hip ratio as some of these, you know, BBL models and things like that. In fact, that's actually considered unnatural for our biology standards. There's a certain ratio, the golden ratio number, you can look that up, of waist to hip. What that does biologically is it signals to men that this woman is not likely pregnant, because biologically men are looking for a woman to mate with, and if a woman is already pregnant with another man's baby, she would not be an ideal person to mate with, because he's looking to impregnate her with, like, he wouldn't be carrying on his genetics by sleeping with her because she's already pregnant. That's the deeper biology behind that. And yes, we are all greater than our biology and we can all surpass that, but that's where the biological response is to seeing that body type. So in reality, it's not so much that a woman is a size 2. That's a societal standard. That's something we've put on people as being like, that's the model standard. In reality, a size 2, a size 8, a size 16, like, those things are not as relevant as the waist to hip ratio that signals that this woman is not already pregnant. And I say this, and believe me, the first time I heard that, it was triggering to me, because I'm somebody who carries all of my weight from the waist up. So my midsection, my top half, which is not as appealing. Anyone who does not gain weight in their boobs first, I know you're all like, oh, that must be nice. No, it's not. Trust me. As women, you can gain weight in your butt first, you're golden. This part makes your life miserable. For one thing, it gives you back pain. It's really hard to buy bras, and most men are massively intimidated when these things get too big. Our society tends to think that, like, a D cup is huge. So anything beyond that, and it's just more than most people can deal with. I actually mentioned this in another video. What we consider plus sized in our society is totally convoluted. When I was doing my Instagram modeling thing, I was called plus size like every single day. I was like a size 8. And I was only a size 8 because of my top half. In the bottom, I was probably more like a 4-6. Called plus size every single day. I got approached by plus size brands that wanted me to work with them. I was like, I don't fit into your clothing. I gained a little bit of weight, so now I actually technically am a plus size, but I'm a low plus size. Most plus size doesn't start until like a 12 or a 14. And all of a sudden, everybody's like, you're obese now. We have a really convoluted idea of like what plus sized is in our society. So at the end of the day, yes, confidence and carrying yourself a certain way is absolutely a huge factor. But I also think we need to be a little bit careful of just making assumptions that because somebody who happens to be a famous model who has societally acceptable proportions at a certain size has the same life experience as somebody who may be the same size and weight but does not have that level of clout and does not have that specific socially acceptable body type. So none of this is meant to be a judgment on anybody. I just think we need to be really careful about assuming that everybody's experience is the same when there's so much variations in this. So there was another video that was actually a Stitch response to this model's video, and I want to address some of the things that he mentioned. So here's the video.
I've never been hit on by more men in my entire life as a size 14 woman, and this is why.
It's because men aren't intimidated by you. We can take these shots, and if we get rejected, who cares?
For starters, if any of you out there are familiar with the term the neg, it's actually from the book The Game, which came out in the early 2000s. It's this phenomenon where men basically insult women that they're interested in to try to chip away at their self-esteem so that these women are easier to manipulate. This is a classic neg. Ladies, avoid this. There are men out there who are being taught even still to this day to use that technique. Avoid it. You don't want a man like that. And men, if you're still using the neg, stop. Trust me, it is not a good technique. You may get a woman temporarily, but it's not going to be good for a relationship, and I highly discourage you from doing that because it is toxic behavior. We shouldn't be doing it. But I also find this concerning because here's the thing. I cannot tell you how many times on social media, on podcasts, even on podcasts I've been on, that I've been a guest on, where I've heard men say that men do not get intimidated by women, that if they don't approach you, they're just not interested. I highly encourage women to take that advice. If a man is not approaching you, if he's not pursuing you, assume he's not interested, move on, you don't need him. Plain and simple. However, you can't, as men, then turn around, and I'm assuming it's just this man, but if any man thinks like him, you can't turn around and say, oh no, we're only approaching women that we're not interested in because we're intimidated by the women we are interested in. Either you as men get intimidated by women or you don't get intimidated by women. You got to get your story straight and make up your mind about this. And honestly, this guy's message is similar to that, like he's pulling your ponytail in the playground to get your attention because he's trying to tear away at this person's self-esteem to try to get their attention and get in with them. I hate even sharing it because I don't like giving it attention, but I do think it's an important lesson. Look, in the same way that I would tell women who say they want to date men of a certain height and they start shaming any man who isn't that height, it's like you can both want to date a man who is of a certain height and also not criticize men who aren't that height, just choose not to date them. In the same way that as men, I think you need to also acknowledge that, okay, maybe you don't want to date a woman of a certain size. Maybe you have a certain preference for a woman and her appearance, her looks, her age, her height, her whatever. It doesn't mean that you have to shame women who aren't that way. Like, you can let women who aren't what your preference is live, and you can just choose to pursue women who are your preference. And if you are intimidated by the woman who is your preference, work on yourself and your self-confidence so you're not intimidated by those women. So you can be pursuing the woman that you actually are interested in. That would be my lesson for both men and women. You can have your preferences, but shaming anybody who's outside of your preference just for existing and not being your preference is not acceptable, and that goes for men or women. And if you find as a woman you're not getting approached by the men that you actually want, or you as a man are finding that you're too intimidated to approach a woman who is what you actually want, work on yourself. All I encourage you to do. I also wanted to finish this off on a positive note. It's actually a video I want to share from male content creator. This is a man saying this. I'm sharing this as a woman, but it's a man saying this. If you have a problem with this, go to him and take it up with him. I'm just sharing this because I think it's a great message about men and the type of woman that they're attracted to.
So this post got me thinking because I have a lot of friends of mine that are only into like skinny, you know, petite, small girls. But I don't understand how you could see a woman, you know, built like that and not be attracted to that, that's a woman. But then I started thinking about it, and a lot of the friends I know that are like only into small girls are also my friends that like, I never see in the gym. They're not that physically strong. Whereas on the other hand, all of my friends that are really strong, that do work out a lot, that can throw around a lot of weight, are typically into like the bigger, thicker girls. And obviously everyone has their preference, but I think it might have something to do with the fact that most guys want to be more physically imposing than the girl that they're with. The moral of the story is if you're the kind of guy who like adamantly refuses to get with big, thick women like that, it might be a sign that you're not that strong.
There is a biological desire in women to be with a man who is stronger than they are, and a desire in men to be physically stronger than the woman that they're with. That's normal. That said, if you as a man are constantly drawn to women who are weak, it may be because you as a man are not stepping into the fullness of your strength. There is something to that. Again, it's a man saying this. I'm just sharing it. I mean, obviously there's gonna be size limitations. I mean, if you as a man are only prone to be a certain size, well, then you're probably gonna want a woman who is smaller than you. But if you're a man who's just not very strong or hasn't built up his strength or his ability to protect at all because you just haven't been motivated to do it, well, you don't really have much place to then shame women who are stronger than you are because you haven't actually worked on your strength at all. There was an anonymous comment that I saw that somebody had shared. So I don't know who this man was, but I really thought this was beautiful, where he had shared anonymously that he believes that he should be physically larger and stronger than the woman that he's involved with. He's very attracted to bigger, curvier women, so he is in the gym working hard, building his strength because he knows that he needs to be stronger than a woman who is a larger size woman. That to me is the ultimate in the masculine. It's an ultimate masculine man because what he's saying is, I know I want this. I'm not gonna ask her to be less. I'm gonna see that as a challenge to make myself greater. That's a masculine man. The masculine thrives in challenge. So a masculine man is going to see a woman in it doesn't necessarily just have to be body size, but maybe in physical strength, intelligence, anything. He's gonna see her at a certain level and he's gonna say, you know what, I see that as a challenge. I'm gonna be greater than that because I know that she's here and I need to be here. And he's gonna actually build himself up instead of expecting her to tear herself down to be less. A masculine man will do that. A weaker man will expect a woman to weaken herself so that he can feel stronger. A masculine man is going to build himself up to be stronger than her because he knows if she's here, he knows he can be stronger and he sees that as a challenge. That's what a masculine man will do. So I encourage women out there, regardless of your size, regardless of your weight, again, always be healthy, always take care of yourself, always support your feminine hormones. It is so, so important, and I want to see all of you living healthy, long, feminine lives. That said, love yourself where you are. If you need to make changes in your life, make them from a loving place. Love your body how it is now and love your body at every stage in your journey. And there are men out there who are going to find you sexy and attractive at any size, at any shape, at any age, you know, at any weight. There's men out there who are going to find you attractive, and the men who want to shame you, who want to judge you, who want to tear you down, they're just not your men. And that just is what it is. There's going to be men out there who are going to not try to make you diminish yourself. They're going to step up to the level that you are or surpass the level that you are, and don't keep settling for ones that try to judge or shame you just so that you can be in a relationship. Like, own yourself and own your worth enough to know that you deserve an amazing man, and the right man will come into your life because you deserve it and you're worth it. I hope this video was inspirational to you. I have other videos about feminine energy, body image, weight, things like that, where I dive into this topic deeper, but all of these videos kept going viral. They kept showing up in my feed, and I just really wanted to put them all together and kind of sum this topic up. None of this was meant to body shame or body hate anybody. We all are where we are. I want everybody to love themselves in their journey. I want you to do things from a loving place. I want anybody to feel like they have to torture their body. I've been in that place before and I know it's not fun. So I think we need to really kind of re-examine the idea of women needing to be feminine and be a size 2. You can be a feminine woman at any size, any shape, at any age. Regardless of who you are, you can connect to your feminine energy. You deserve it. You're worth it. If you want to connect to your feminine energy, I have online courses. You can check out details in the description box below, along with links to all my social media accounts. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please give it a big thumbs up and be sure you subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you join me next time.